is another notorious issue with libraries. That was a live feed that I was just showing, but here we are on, there's a video called Jared is going to help me turn in the library harassment. Ghostie watched the video, and probably the other video as well, the one where the harassment was there, and Ghostie typed, "So the officer knows the guy and is going to talk to him. He will play it off as kids will be kids, which will give these kids carte blanche to up the harassment, and more of their friends will join in now." Yeah, that's kind of the point. This is a problem with the cops here, including that cop, allowing other people that same carte blanche. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's been years since I took French. And yes, already more of their friends had joined in. They had joined in because of other people that were doing stuff at the parking lot. The ones that were throwing stuff at my vehicle, I don't know which ones they were. I was trying to sleep. Well, there we go. Somebody trying to restrict the number. Oh, and it shut off before I got to touch it. Good. It says, the police in small towns know everyone and their parents. Good chance he is friends with these punks' parents. Well, that happens to be as true as I can possibly see it, and I'm going to show you why. All right, so good chance he is friends with these punks' parents. All right, so we'll go to a 14-year-old girl, Tillamook. All right. Women person of interest in Tillamook Forest homicide 4 months ago. Huh. So, should I say anything about the way that they look? Yes or no? This one's pretty gross too. Now let's see. Tillamook County Sheriff assaults 14-year-old girl. Now this isn't the actual video. This is me trying to show the video so that it's short because nobody wanted to watch a 2-hour video. So let's take a look at this. We want to back it up to where the cop pulls up. So here's where the cop is pulling up in the video. There he grabs her. Nope, it's back up. His feet. There's his feet. He literally just pulled up. So let's. All right, so right there's the deputy's feet. You see, he runs over. There he grabs her, spins her around, and takes a running start with her. Blam! Let's play that again. Well, that's not, and I'm sorry, that's not a very good one, but it'll tell us on here 5 months ago. It was made October 23rd, 2022. So if you guys go look to the stuff that's on October 23rd, 2022, you'll find the actual 2.5-hour video where this happened, where the police refused to take a report about their officer assaulting her. There were multiple witnesses to it. Her mother was trying to assist the young woman's predator. This 14-year-old girl was trying to tell on her stepfather, who she was afraid of. So the Tillamook cops here and the Tillamook Family Counseling Center conspired to have her taken to the hospital on suicide watch. She, for the rest of her life, has the ability to look forward to anybody being able to hurt her at any point in time and pretend she's schizophrenic by calling her mentally ill. Congratulations, you just destroyed your entire daughter's life, or your daughter's entire life. Anybody may harm her at will from here on in. Any boyfriend, any girlfriend, any officer. Like the officer in Aurora, Colorado. Sorry, not Aurora. The one in Adams County, Colorado, who arrested a mentally ill woman on a courtesy ride home. He did so on his squad car. He got busted because it was taped by his squad car. Let's see what else is on here. It says, the police in small towns know everyone and their parents. Good chance he is friends with these punks' parents. If the harassment kicks up a notch, you know you are getting no help. Obviously, with the screenshot, you know that I tried to say something right. I tried to get everything correct as far as how I felt about this very insulting counter response here. So when I was making my video about that, Ghostie was one of the people commenting that they couldn't hear it. That's, like I said, one of the issues with the library. It says, if the harassment kicks up a notch, you know you are getting no help. The thing with the Scudders is that this harassment did kick it up a notch. It kicked up a notch over a year ago, or over 6 months ago, when Molly started pretending like I was stealing Tom from her, stealing this mentally ill old man and trying to kill him or some crap like that. Meanwhile, she was threatening to kill him and threatening to kill me. And also there's recordings of that. And there's also her telling him that she's going to kill me. And also her talking about killing others. It's a very, very violent thing that this woman is up to. And many people get like that. They know that a man is supposed to get violent, supposed to threaten somebody's life for her honor. Well, she's not honorable. So how can you be fighting for something that doesn't exist? If she's not honorable, then you are not protecting her honor. She has no honor to protect. If you're protecting the virginity of a woman who's been a prostitute for 30 years, there is no virginity to protect. The harassment already kicked up a notch, and I'm already getting no help. And you can see Ghostie knows well enough to know that the officer was blowing me off in this, and Jared and I, we're both males, and we're both well aware of that. So that's why when I gave Jared and I a rating, instead of giving ourselves a 10 out of 10, we only get an 8 out of 10 because we each lose a point for having male genitalia. I typed, so speak up, use your voice, not at the peanut gallery, but publicly. You can call APS. You can hear your concerns. Matter of fact, if you call up APS and you record the phone call and explain it to them, you can send it to doggedroman@gmail.com. Matter of fact, I'm going to type that right now if I can get my mouse to work. Nope, that didn't work. All right. The more people call in and care, the more likely they are to do something. But when everybody makes the excuse that they're not going to be heard, nobody gets heard because nobody tries. Ghostie also obviously watched at least part of the video. Says, good, you got the plate number, and Jared is a great person. they will get a slap on the wrist, unfortunately, unless you can dig up more videos of them in same vehicles elsewhere. Then they are fucked. Well, I've got a bunch of videos of them in that vehicle down at that parking lot, and of course screaming coming from that group of people. But the thing is, that young man shouldn't get a slap on the wrist. This is not appropriate. Obviously, this is not his first rodeo. They are already aware of him and what he does, and that this is not something that is uncommon or unfamiliar to them. Ghostie also typed, they will get a slap on the wrist, unfortunately. We're further along than that. Also, you typed, Candace should be reported, or child endangerment. Who watches child when she is cracked out and knocked out? Also, for welfare fraud, get back with that officer, have Jared with you about her. Just so you know, Ghostie, the reason I put this on the internet, because literally all of you can turn this in. I turn this in on the internet because the cops don't take it seriously. I have to depend on people like you to do it. I literally do this because the cops won't listen to me. Now, they would have listened last year if the Scudders had come forward right away, like that night. But the thing is, they didn't want to do their job, and they're not going to do their job. On the bright side, we've got a guy on here calling himself Chad Gant. And there, I got a screenshot of him. And now what do we do with these trolls, Ghostie? What do I do? Matter of fact, let's go to the live video that I'm making now. We'll see if he erases it before I do. We can watch my video as I make it. For Ghostie. Of course, what am I going to do? Okay. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's take a look at the side here. This is the live video I'm making now. And of course, this is Chad Gant. You belong in prison. Ghostie typed, you said it right. Now, what do I do with these folks? You know it. In real life, you can't do this. But on the internet, you can hide user on this channel. When you guys pretend that the internet harassment is the problem, it's not. It's the social isolation. It's being separated from my friends and family, separated from my social network, separated from my money, separated from my ability to take care of myself, defend myself, protect myself, and all of my basic civil and human rights. It's horrible. So, for Ghostie, here's the thing, Ghostie. I never, ever did this for entertainment. I always did it for the victims, whether the victims are men, women, LGBT, straight. And that also includes whether their predators are men, women, LGBT, or straight. Keep in mind, yes, I may fight for the rights of the LGBT community, but I've also been raped by men. I've also been victimized by women. I've had people within the LGBT community that did not want to take no for an answer, even tried to tell me that I was homophobic because I wouldn't date a man in a dress. I wouldn't date anybody. I'm willing to wear a dress. No joke. I am all for protecting you and defending your rights, but I'm not going to protect you from your own evils. I'm not going to pretend that just because you're my friend, that other people that identify with the same group as you didn't commit their crimes because You happen to be part of that group. I'm not going to pretend that black people never beat me up for the color of my skin just because I now have friends that are black. I had black kids that were my friends back then too, and they watched. They watched. Until Tim got sick of people putting their nasty coffee eaters on me. After that, we just argued and laughed about the newbie. So anyway, I'm sorry that my last video didn't come out right, especially since it was an hour long. But the reason I post this stuff up is because I need people like you to turn it in. I'm gonna type a video in here. This is from the Dalles, Oregon. I want you to take a look at this video. I'm gonna click on the link here. Copy link address. And then we'll put it on the For Ghostie video, since it's obviously still playing. And I'll put it in the actual comments section, I guess. Oh, here it is, in the side comments there. Paste. All right, the video link that I just posted, it's Jamie again. And that's where within the first 30 seconds, there's a woman who is mentally ill at a church that's being run like a prison a church parking lot that's being run like a prison yard. This is where we're told to go to be safe as homeless people in the Dalles, Oregon. You might notice that in the first 30 seconds, you see that she's trying to walk away from him. I saw him push her first. She never pushed or assaulted him or anything. I saw it out of the corner of my car. Now he pursues her. And as he's following her, she's trying to get away from him, but she's also yelling at him to get away from her. And obviously that hasn't worked for me with any of my predators, has it? I ask them to leave me alone and they just get more antagonistic. You're sexist as hell. I mean, human society. You expect those gender roles to be broken when it's towards you, but you want to imprison others with those expected gender roles. And that's not okay. Ghostie typed, are all the towns this bad, or is this one just a rarity? I mean, it seems like a town full of kooks. Well, there's crazies everywhere. The whole United States is on pharmaceuticals. Over 70% of all of the world's opiates go to Americans. I'm talking about pharmaceutical opiates. Over 70%. Over 70%. How much of the world's population does the United States constitute? Less than 4%. We also get real diagnosis heavy. Real heavy, because doctors here got real big egos. Let's see. Anyway, girl interrupted type, better now in connection. I'm also now in an area that has Wi-Fi. Well, girl interrupted, it wasn't your problem or your fault. The thing is that, well, the library internet sucks. I could attach it to my phone, but it, like I said, it just sucks. It takes a lot of doing to be able to do that, and some of the stuff I was hoping to do today, it was absolutely wasted because nobody could hear me. Girl interrupted, you could speak up. The video link that's posted just above your comment was posted, that's the situation with Jamie in the Dalles, Oregon. If y'all can post the hell out of that, you're not going to share my story. You're not going to speak up for me, but Jamie's a female and she's tiny and she's at a place that is documented. There's a lot of film that is done there. It's not just Jamie that stuff happened to. But that video there, I'm going to click it one more time to make sure that it's doubled up so that you see it. I tried to turn that in. I tried to turn it into a lot of different people. Nobody cared. Anyway, I got to be out of here by 2. It could potentially take 30 minutes or more for my computer to close down. And then I got to pack it up. So it's about time for me to leave now. I did plan on being here earlier today, but life happened. And if I get anxiety, then I do just sit in my car because I can't chance having a panic attack in public because I'll be harmed for it. I'm not a woman. Nobody's going to have sympathy for me in real life if I have a panic attack. They're going to ultimately treat me as if I have victimized them for having a panic attack or for having a mental breakdown from neglect and abuse. And a lot of people want to yell at me, well, I didn't abuse you, or I didn't see any abuse. Like, really? Neglect is abuse, and just because you didn't see all of the abusive things that happened after you left doesn't mean that they didn't happen. Just because you wouldn't look at the videos of people doing things doesn't mean that people didn't do these things. Just because you wanted to believe that Officer William Barr was a figment of my imagination, that didn't stop him from taking me to court, using his resume as an excuse to harm me, and that people need to listen to him and ignore me, slandered my name, calling me schizophrenic. Meanwhile, how many people have tried claiming that I am schizophrenic and all this, and how many of them are actually doctors who have seen me for 6 months or longer? How many of them are qualified to do that, and actually how many of them have? Only one has actually seen me long enough to diagnose that. Well, 2 of them, Nicole Peralta as well, and she didn't diagnose me that way either. And that's the thing, is that, well, Marcia Estrada, 42 years experience, 42 years in the field, and she stated outright that I am not schizophrenic. Ghostie type, you should call back to station and ask for officer and say, well, what did the young men have to say for themselves, and what are you going to do with this? Make them know you will not go away. I am a disabled and at-risk male. I need someone else to go in with me. There are instructions for this. I'm not trying to be condescending, Ghostie, but my entire channel is about exactly this. Without Jared there's a possibility that I would have gotten beaten up, arrested, shot, or taken to a hospital on suicide watch. So watch your suggestions. Does that sound like a threat? It's not. It's absolutely not. It's that those suggestions hurt, especially when we hear them over and over again. I've been doing this for 6 years, and Jared's the first one, when a crime happened, to actually speak up with me and help me to do it properly. There are a lot of people who spoke up in the moment that saved me in the moment, but never helped to turn it in. And like, for example, in Hood River and in the Dalles, there were officers that really needed to do their jobs, but instead they created issues by lying to people, trying to insinuate that because I was new to town and this other homeless person with no facial hair was new to town, that I must have been him. And there's a lot of people that were involved in those situations that did speak up. They knew I was recording, and I did go back and speak with those people and get their names. The situation with Jamie here was in the Dalles. Most of America is like that. As you were typing about small towns earlier, it's very scary to live here. It's very scary to be here or to be involved in any of this, especially when it's all bias. They're friends with the family. They think the kids should get away with it. Oh, they're young. They're just kids. Oh, they're just girls. Oh, that's just what they do. Oh, it's no big thing. You just need to man up, and so on and so on and so on and so on. The problem is it don't work. It don't work without you calling it in. You can call it in from anywhere. You can literally call it in from France if that's where you're at. Same thing here with Girl Interrupted. Her problem is that she'll have difficulties with recording it because she's stuck doing it on her phone. Some of the self-advocacy stuff that I have. This is, I know I am respected when you self-advocate. You need to know when people are respecting you. Well, if they don't treat you like you're important, everything that they're going through, if you were just assaulted and they want to go drinking with their friends tonight, that's more important, then you know that drinking to them is more important than your safety, more important than your life, more important than your livelihood. It says people pay attention to me. When I say the same thing over and over again and they just keep talking over me, they're not paying attention to me. When they're giving me the same advice over and over and over and over again that I've already tried to explain to them, I've been there, I've done that, then they're not paying attention to me. They're paying attention to their own ideas. When they call me up and they start telling me about themselves, they're not paying attention to me. They're just talking. It says people listen to me and look me in the eye. Well, people, for the most part, even when you think they're listening, they're not paying attention, and then they make suggestions. Instead of listening, they want to make suggestions over and over, those suggestions. It says, and look me in the eye. Well, we can't do that, can we? It's not okay to look a man in the eye because it's a direct challenge to his manhood. You can't look a woman in the eye because she'll think that you're getting rapey and you're some sort of uncontrolled rape monster, bred for rape and being rapey all the rapey time. Like you grew up on cartoons called rapey time. It's disgusting. So yeah, look me in the eye out, because you're not allowed to look men in the eye and you're not allowed to look women in the eye, but you are allowed to yell at autistic people who don't want to look you in the eye to begin with because they don't want you to treat them like you're a rapist or challenging them. So you don't look people in the eye. And then of course, when you want to put emphasis on I am not important. Only what you have to say is important. You talk to me like I'm a retard. Look me in the eye. Look me in the eye. No, go fuck yourself. And then we get to people don't interrupt me when I am talking. Well, you get to see that people interrupt me to give me suggestions that I literally just explained to them why the suggestion doesn't work. Or I'm trying to explain to them that I've already done it and it didn't work. I need them to do it with me, and they tell me to do it alone. They say, well, you should. No, we should. We, not just me. Because if it's just me, they use the mentally ill tag, and I don't matter. I'm not a human being. I'm a penis to most of these people. To our society, we separate it into how you're supposed to treat something with a penis and how you're supposed to treat something with a vagina. And that's what it is. That is what it comes down to. We are taught that we're supposed to treat men differently than we treat women. We are supposed to, as men, treat women differently than we treat men. We are supposed to, as women, treat women differently than we treat men. And then, of course, each one of us doesn't want to get in trouble for our own wrongs, do we? We won't admit them, even if it leads to another person's death. Isn't that right? People don't interrupt me when I am talking. Well, how many times have these officers talked over me to sell their own narrative? The situation with Jared wasn't being a sissy lala. You like that? Jared actually spoke up in the moment. He was not afraid of being recorded or having his name there. And I did keep on talking because I was very much in a afraid and inflamed mentally situation. It makes it difficult to speak and difficult to communicate. And Jared did speak up at important points when I needed him to, but for the most part, he tried to let me do the talking where I could. It says people don't try to finish my sentences. Well, we already know that interrupting me, talking over me is just as horrible. It's literally doing the same thing. Instead of finishing my sentences, you are talking over my sentences with your own narrative very loudly to make sure I'm not heard and you didn't hear me. And then magically that makes it okay. It says people care about what I think, not if you're constantly trying to talk down to me like I'm a retard who must just not know what abuse is. All right, so we're closing this up. I do want to thank all of you for joining. Thank you, Ghostie, for showing up on my channel. I'm going to give myself a like because I'm stuck up and have to toot my own horn, or maybe it's just because it makes me feel better. Now, how do we end these videos? Good to be rid of you. Thank you for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.